We are dating this as May 31st, 2024. About an entire week since I first got sick after having watched Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Pretty great movie.
Your will shall be done.
Not the point of this, but figured I'd bring it up to add some context to sort of where I'm at right now. And this past week, I've been inspired, not just from what I've been playing, but also a lot of what I feel like is missing on the internet. To put things into perspective, last week, just before watching Furiosa, I remember logging into my Xbox, and looking around at some sales, find that there is a publisher sale for, was it Sega? Atlas? I don't know. And in my wishful mind, I was thinking, could this game finally be on sale? I put in the full 8 hours cap that they put on the demo like a month or two ago. Well, actually, since its release. So I wanted to see if they had it there, and sure enough, it was on sale. Probably not for the amount that in my back of my mind I would have wanted, but there it was. Unicorn Overlord on sale, $45. I took a chance on it, knowing that I had a lot of fun with the 8 hours that I put into the demo. And this past week, that's all I've been doing. Up to a certain point. Like, when I would get on the game this past week, I'd play to the extent of like almost a migraine inducing headache. Like, I just did not give myself a break playing this, because this game is fucking crack, dude. I don't know how else to say it. This game is tactics crack. Tactics optimization crack. And the way I describe it is, if you loved Ogre Battle, Tactics, and if you liked the Fire Emblem interpersonal relationship stuff that you can delve into by pairing people up a certain way, then you should probably look into at least the demo for Unicorn Overlord. And it's kind of weird to see how many people I feel like were interested or at least excited for the game upon the first reveal of it and the announcement of its release, and just how many of those people did not follow up on it. I feel like we all got distracted by other stuff, whether it was intentionally or not, or stuff of similar quality, high quality. You know, back in February we had Helldivers, and that's still going. And then not too long after Unicorn Overlord, there was Dragon's Dogma 2, which that's gonna show up at some point on here. But I just figured I'd talk about the game right now, because I needed some way to get the brain muscles flowing, you know? I've been hard at work on a whole series of videos that, I mean, some of them aren't even started writing yet, but I've got one of them sitting in the oven, but the oven's turned off because I figured I would just start prepping all of them first. So I've written out 2 of them. One of them is in a rough draft, and then I'm currently working on one. But anyway, I figured I would just at least have something up before the end of the month, right on the dot, right on time, and just talk about this game for a bit now that I finally got to play the full game. And yeah, it's tactics optimization crack with light interpersonal relationship stuff spruced into it, because that's how you get the I don't know, that's how you get the parasocial people in on it. I don't know how to describe it. I guess that's how you get lore. In this game, I really like the way the game's paced out. It's kind of like interesting to see how this sort of game has evolved over the years, right? I remember in Sacred Stones, there would be an overworld map, but usually it was only specific points on the map that you could interact with, right? Nothing else was interactable. But now in this game, it's like a full-on overworld, like almost to the extent of like old school Golden Sun, Final Fantasy sort of thing, where you're kind of just traversing across a world map. But there are things on the map that you can interact with. There are materials gathering, which is not to the extent of a survival game. I absolutely hate that. It's mostly just seeing something highlighted on the ground, and you go and you pick it up, and then there you go, you get materials, and those materials will be used for the towns and cities that you've liberated on your quest to regain control as the nation of Cornea. And you use those materials to build up these towns again, and once you've built them up, you can station guards on them, and they'll passively give you income and other materials around the area as well. And it's just a good way to incentivize not just doing the tactics stuff. And on top of that, there's also some other stuff on the map, like certain side quests that you'll have to interact with certain things on the map, landmarks, graveyards where one of your healers has to pray at, and you'll get rewards for completing said side quests. There's also areas where you can mine, so you can mine specific materials, not all of the materials that you'll need. Like, you can't get wood from a mine, you know, that's obvious. But you can get like stone and like building materials, or iron ores, copper ores, and stuff like that. And all these things are interactable all across the overworld map, which is interspersed with, you know, you walking up to a certain area, and then there you'll find enemy soldiers being like, hey, you can't be here. And then there you go, and then now you have a liberation quest enabled there, and you can go in there, and then you know, set up your units, and you go fight in real time too, by the way, which is something that I feel like I haven't seen too much of. It's like a weird mix of the tactics, but with almost like RTS, but not nearly as strategic as an RTS, mind you. Most of the pathing you can see right off the bat where you'll go, and you can pause mid-game to see where you would want to place your guys and where to move them in real time. So it's like pseudo RTS, but like not the point. The point is like these tactics battles where you can mix and match many different types of units. And you can have a healer with a gladiator, and that's a good combo because the gladiator essentially is like a sponge for damage, and so if he takes enough damage, like healer can heal him, and then once she's out of heals, he can heal himself with his bulk up ability. So he's just mainly there to be a sponge and then be able to clear out an entire row of enemies with his wide attacks. Or if you want to specifically target ground units, and even more specifically cavalry units, you can use a wyvern riders, and you can poke them with a stick. Not a stick, it's a trident. They hold tridents. I just didn't want to make it seem like Hilda was the coolest person in the game, but you know, I mean, she started off kind of a bitch. Now she's pretty cool.
Like a biting wind.
And so you can do stuff like that, and it's always like, it's never a triangle like how it is in Fire Emblem, where, you know, oh, sword beats this, axe beats this, this beats that, and then there's range and magic. It's not really like that. It's more so like, this unit has low evasion and low magic defense, so obviously you get somebody who does magic, they'll fuck them up. Or like, this unit is in the sky, so the chances of hitting them are low, but archers, they have true strike, which means that their percentage of getting of landing a hit is always guaranteed. So, duh. But you mix and match different units and stuff that you pick up along the way, who can, you know, all have relationships with one another. Though granted, the rapport, that's what they call it. The rapport is very specific for different the units, except for your main guy, which is Elaine. He's the prince of the fallen kingdom of Cornea. He can basically have rapport with everybody in the game because, you know, fucking main character powers. But everyone else has specific people that they can get along with. And some of them you'll expect, like, yeah, obviously this person with this person because they are introduced together, or, oh, well, clearly these people like each other. These two are sisters. And other times you'll see rapport on the list and you're like, oh, that's interesting. They can have rapport with this person. I wouldn't have expected that. And then that's incentivizing you to sort of either mix and match your different unit types that you can put out onto the field, or go into the bigger towns that have taverns after you've liberated them and fully restored them. You can go into these taverns, and that's where the vanillaware food comes into play. This is where you'll find all of the food in the game, really. I haven't seen any of the food in the game yet, but I mean, I'm still not done. But here you can set people up on essentially like tavern dates to eat together, and then that'll improve their rapport as well. So the game's got a lot of crap in it. It's got a lot of stuff in it. You can change up the equipment that people use. You can change up the order of the strategies that you want them to do. Like, there are different attacks that they have available. You can like omit some that they have, or you can include certain attacks, and you can place them in an order of priority as to when you would want them to use those certain attacks or passive abilities, because there's active attacks and there's passive actions. Oh no, I'm getting sicker by the minute. But yeah, I thought that this game is really great, and what I've been seeing a lot online with it though is people say it's fair criticism, but for me, I don't know. People say like the story is passable, tolerable. Story is not interesting. They wish XYZ. Like, I feel like that would just deter from the actual focus of the game, which is exactly what I mentioned. The fucking crack that's right there sitting on the table for you to give a shot. Or take a snip. I don't know how you do crack, but you know, this is that. Anyway, it's not like I think that the story's bad. Like, it's definitely not like insufferable. Like, sure, there's nothing unique about it, maybe, sort of, I don't know. But it's really about the performances of the characters and sort of like the motivations that they have for either being in the Liberation Army or having no place in it or not taking part in it, or I mean, there's a MacGuffin in the game too that kind of leads you into the rest of the plot, right? It just leads you along because of this unicorn ring that Elaine uses all the time to heal people who've been possessed by the persuasion of Galerius. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of basic, right? But I mean, do you really need a complicated story when fucking this game is so tactically heavy, and like you can mix and match your units so well, and there's even a Coliseum where there's like PvP, but it's like, you know, tactics PvP, so it's almost like an auto battler. And, you know, like do you, and the rapport system, do you really need a complicated story that you need to keep up with all the twists and turns, and like you need like 20,000 branching paths to reach the end of it? I don't think so. I don't think you needed any of that. So the people who are complaining about that, I feel like missed the point. I think they missed the point. People who say that kind of just want everything in a game, and then when they get everything in a game, it's not worth it for them. They just feel like it's bloated. So
I don't
pick
mind
one.
doing this much at least.
I feel like that's to say that I think the point of the game is the gameplay, not so much the storytelling or the different character developments that can occur. Granted, there are character development moments that can happen, mostly in side quests that you do for specific characters that you'll meet. But besides that, like, I mean, did you really need something complex and, like, you know, confusing, maybe convoluted? This is nowhere near convoluted as, say, like a Kingdom Hearts, though that's not a tactics game. Why'd I bring that up? Anyway, I figured I'd just bring it up. I really like this game. All you guys who said you would try it and then you haven't tried it, you missed out. Fuck you. I'm gonna die now.